as a musician, that there is too much pressure in the world. In every part of life, it's pressure, pressure, pressure. Whether it's paying your taxes or doing this, you have to do that. And maybe that's part of why I love the simpler times when one would just catch the plague in the 1500s and it was all over, no pressure.
It's amazing how you can get creative from friction and pressure. Like you take that energy
True.
and edginess and you ride off it and come out with incredible solos.
That's
or
true.
incredible performances on stage or incredible songs. But I think in our situation, I don't feel pressured by our creative relationship.
No, absolutely not. There is no pressure with us. That's why we go on stage and everything's just relaxed. I would notice that a lot of people in the audience are very old. I'll say, Candice, there's a lot of old people out there tonight. And I suddenly realize I'm older than all of them, which kind of, you know, makes me think, oh, pressure, right. So, but it's true. The music that we play now in Blackmore's Night doesn't have that pressure. We're trying to relieve that pressure from people's lives, especially with her voice, which is so melodic and comforting, you know, and things like that. And I love that music. That's why I'm drawn to it, to get away from the pressure of life.
I think that when we work together, that we know each other so well that we're able to, we kind of psychically know and have great respect for each other where the music is going to go. Like he gives me free rein to write the words and do the lyrical concept of it, but not only that, but just also the singing perspective of it. Anywhere I want to go with the vocals, he's fine with, and I have great respect for him being an incredible genius that where he comes out with these amazing songs and really has this great visions to composing the songs and what they are and what they could be. So I think that mutual respect for each other and the compassion and the fact that we've been together for so long really works in our favor. I wonder if the pressure thing is more for rock and roll world, maybe, I'm guessing. So,
I would go on stage with Deep Purple and Rainbow and I would be fired up. There was quite a bit of friction there. And I would use that friction to pull out the energy. So, but this particular band that we're in, it's the opposite. I go out there and I see friends shaking hands with everybody and asking the people what they want to hear. And we keep it very jovial and very party-like. And I kind of like that. I wanted last year off completely from touring. I hate traveling because I've done it so much through my life. I hate getting to planes and trying to be somewhere. And so to me, I thought, great, we'll take the year off. But it has gone on a bit too long.
We've done a couple of those virtual shows and people were so happy when we did it. We're not very good at technical things, but we did at the beginning of this this whole lockdown. We set up our iPad and just sat and played and took requests, you know, on the screen. And but there's just nothing like that live energy. The people were really happy and really excited to see us and, you know, to tune in from, and they tuned in from all over the world. They were just so excited. You know, just to see us playing and talking to them and referring to them as they were typing in and taking the requests and playing the songs and seeing a natural environment like our home, you know, doing it there. So it was very intimate and very personal, and that's a beautiful thing as it is. But there is just nothing like stepping on stage and feeling that energy that you get from the audience. And I think that's something that we're really missing.
I don't miss personally playing to 15,000, to 150,000. I love to play to 100 people because we're all a community and we all just pull together and it's like a party time.
There's nothing like waking up in a castle or going to perform at a castle and putting your hands on that stone and feeling that it's been there for hundreds and hundreds, in some cases over 1,000 years, some of the foundations of the stone, and wondering about the stories it can tell and trying to channel these stories, or finding out about the local folklore, or walking down
Stonehenge.
cobblestone streets, right? Exactly. Every area that we've been
Absolutely.
has had their own like amazing tales and stories that we often use as inspiration for our songs. Not only can we
Yes.
find out musically and regionally, you know, about what songs were going on in those
Yes.
areas, and we discover new musical inspirations from the places that we toured in, but lyrically too, all the legends and myths and things that, you know, that stories, folklore that people have told us about their specific regions.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you can Google all this stuff, but there's nothing like hands-on, laying your hands on a stone foundation castle wall and just feeling that energy.
Absolutely.
Right? We are so lucky in our band that Ritchie has such a love of castles, historical venues, and mainly in Germany, which is our strongest market, really. So he knows more about the castles in Germany than the local Germans do in the towns that are there. And he's often educated the German people on a lot of the castles that are in these towns. He reads about them, he studies them, he's stayed at them, he's played at them. And he's been doing that for many, many years. Actually, often, from what I remember, when he was on tour with Deep Purple, they would stay in main towns, and he would take his own personal roadie and go miles out into the countryside in a castle and just stay by himself in the castles, while the rest of the band would stay in the modern hotel with the room service and, you know, in town, in the city.
That's true. They would always stay in the nearest hotel to the city that we were playing in, and I would always like to go probably 100 miles away to stay in the castle. And there's just something, there's a magnetic feel about staying in a castle. Again, it's the earthiness, the stone. I'm obsessed with castles, yet if you know the history of a lot of castles, there's been so many problems, but I think it's the music. I can relate to what the music might have been in that castle in the 1500s. You know, the minstrels and playing of the shawms, the hurdy-gurdies, and all the organic instruments. And so I feel very comfortable in a castle.
Plus, there's a sound element. I think when we're playing outside, not only do you have the castle as your own backdrop, which is incredible, but the sound that you can get from it when the instruments are kind of bouncing off the stone walls, and it has its own natural echo, and it's just beautiful.
Absolutely. A lot of resonance in a castle. The sound just travels.
The moon is rising overhead. There's clock towers that are chiming in the distance, and fields that just go on forever. And I feel like if you get to be enraptured by that magic or those magical moments once in your lifetime, it's something you remember forever. And we are so blessed that we're able to experience that and enjoy that and love and feel that so deeply every time we get on stage. That's just incredible to me.